Caitlin Clark crushes another naysayer in Coach Cheryl Reeves. Pump your brakes a little bit. Pump your brakes. Indiana had a good win today, 81-74 against Minnesota. But let's keep it 100. One of the best players in the league, and certainly the best player on Minnesota, Fee Collier, was not playing today. If she plays today, you might have a different outcome. Game might be a little bit closer. And it wasn't like Indiana ran away with it. You had a couple plays down towards the end of the game, but it was a close game for the majority of the contest. So let's pump the brakes on everybody coming out and just Caitlin Clark showed her. Caitlin Clark had a pretty good game. I won't even say good game because she still has 6 turnovers, right? I'd say 1 or 2 were not her fault, the passes, but the first play with the ball in her hand, she turned the ball over. Let's keep it 100. She played better in the second half than she did in the first, so she got that together. Ended up 5 of 17 from the floor, only 2 from 11 from deep. Shots was kind of cold, but Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell won that game for Indiana. At least that's how I saw it. Aaliyah Boston, 17 points, 16 rebounds. She was pulling everything off, and 11 defensive rebounds, 5 offensive rebounds. So she got 5 putbacks. So much better outing by Aaliyah Boston. Kelsey Mitchell's been doing what she's been doing all season. She's had a couple of bad games, just like Caitlin Clark and everybody else across the league. When you're a shooter or you're a guard in the league, you're bound to have a rough one every now and then. But Kelsey Mitchell showed up, and Kelsey Mitchell is the reason why they won this game. She was 3 for 9 from 3, so she 33% from deep, but she 8 for 18 from the floor. She was making it happen. And she had the clutch defensive stop towards the end of the game to seal it for Indiana. So don't get it twisted. Caitlin Clark had a pretty good second half. The first half was just mid. Second half, she turned it up a little bit. But Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston is what secured that win for Indiana. And everybody's wants to get, because I even said the same thing. Here's another opportunity for Caitlin Clark to play ball against somebody that was her naysayer, an Olympic competitor, and you got the Olympic coach. You know, she's made comments about the other people in the league, and you know how that goes. Just with that little, there's other people here too, attitude. Now, I wouldn't expect that from a coach, but hey, it is what it is, and she said what she said. And she ain't got to take it back. She's not wrong. It just sounds a little suspect. It sounds like you in your feelings because somebody else is getting a little bit more attention. However, that ain't nothing new. Happens in every professional sports league, men's league, women's league, whatever. That's par for the course. There's always going to be somebody that's a little bit jelly. Can't do nothing about that. But in her post-game conference, the presser, she at least kept it 100 with acknowledging the Caitlin Clark effect.
The league, right? That the league has been building, for a watershed moment, and we're here, and now you got to take advantage of it.
She at least kept it real from that standpoint. Now, I know that she didn't really say much about the game, but they didn't ask her either. So I think she answered the question honestly. And again, some of her comments from the past, and most comments about Caitlin Clark from the past, people that are actually still playing in the league. I'm not talking about swoops and all of that nonsense. People that are still playing in the league. Most of the comments have been true. They may sound a little bit catty. They do sound like they throwing a little bit shade. That doesn't mean they've been wrong. But from my opinion, it could have been so much easier to just praise the girl's game, give her little compliments, and keep it moving. But again, and I've said this before, some of these people is like pulling teeth trying to get a compliment out of them. Oh well, that's the way it goes. But at least she did keep it 100, and I respect her for just doing that. But they're about to go into the break. I've been seeing I'm surprised nobody asked Cheryl Reeve in the presser about possibly getting Caitlin Clark on the team with all of these injuries that they're having. But I don't think some of these injuries are that serious because a lot of the people on the Olympic teams have been getting rest because they're about to go on a long trek. This Olympic break is 1 month long, and it's going to be brutal. So we'll see what they're going to do. We'll see how they're going to play. I hope most of these women get through the Olympic experience with no injuries, nothing major happening, and they coming back with the gold. Because if they don't, social media is going to eat them alive on why Caitlin Clark wasn't on the team, and you're going to have to revisit that whole thing again and again and again. Good game by Indiana. They are 11-14, and they have a chance to, maybe be one game under 500 before they get to the break if they can win these next two games. And the big key is going to be what these teams can do when they come back from this month-long Olympic break.